everyone, I am back today with another Keep or Donate, and in this video I'm going to be showing 16 of the nail polishes I've been wearing recently and letting you know which ones I decided to keep versus let go of. So let's just get started. This is going to be in the order that I wore the polish. The first one I'm going to talk about is by Essie and it's called Mint Candy Apple. This is a really popular color, but it's not really for me. I prefer my mint to have a little bit more green in it. This is just like a baby blue and I find the formulation a little bit tricky to work with. I think I do have a baby blue from Essie that I prefer over this one, so for that reason I am going to be saying goodbye to this polish. This one here is the Hansen Complete Salon Manicure and I ended up wearing this on my toes. It's in the shade Thinking of Blue. It's a beautiful dark indigo blue and I really love the shade. I also like the formulation, so I am going to be hanging onto this one. And again, I mark all of my nail polishes that I'm going to keep with this yellow sticker. This is an American Apparel nail polish that I got years and years ago, I think close to when I first started my YouTube channel. This is in the shade 7th and Alameda and it's a beautiful dark charcoal gray. I'm going to be hanging on to this one. Next up is this Julep nail polish. It's in the shade Lola and it's basically a military green. It is a beautiful color, but I find I don't tend to wear these green leaning polishes very often. If I were to wear this type of shade, I would probably choose the 7th and Alameda or something very similar, maybe a little bit lighter, but I don't typically gravitate towards green shades, so for that reason I'm going to be saying goodbye to this one. Next up is this black nail polish. I ended up wearing this on my toes. This is by Essie and it's in the shade Liquorice. I love black polish. I don't wear it very often at all, but I find it really handy just around the home as well if I need to touch something up that's been chipped. So for example, I have this little Rebecca Minkoff handbag and I really like it, but it's got black hardware that kind of like chips a little bit. The paint chips off and it's like plastic underneath. So not 100% happy with the handbag, but that's another video. But this nail polish comes in really handy in those situations. I can just touch up the little chip and it looks good as new. But in any event, it's a staple and I'm going to hang on to this one. I really like the pigmentation and ease of application as well. The next two nail polishes I tried on the same manicure. They are quite different, but I thought they were close enough that I could wear them at the same time, and it was also a weekend and nobody noticed. So these two nail polishes are both by Glaze. They're both really bright and quite fluorescent. This darker one here is called Purple Panic. And then the lighter one that's more of a pink leaning shade is called Pink Voltage. I did like both of them, but I'm only going to keep one and I'm going to be keeping Purple Panic. I just thought the color was easier to work with. It was more bright, more vibrant, and I see myself wearing this a lot more than the lighter one, even though the lighter one is stunning as well. The next manicure I wore was completely different. This manicure had a more peachy, pinky, pastel-y type feel. This one here is by Essie and it's called A Crewed Interest. And then this cute ice cream one is by Etude House and it's in the shade OR202. I did enjoy wearing both of these, however in the end I decided to keep the Essie one because it's got more of a pink lean to it and I feel it works a little bit better with my skin tone versus the Etude House one, which has a little bit more orange or peach in it, and I felt it didn't really flatter my skin tone that nicely. Next up I wore this Butter London nail polish. I wore this on my toes. This is in the shade Bossy Boots. It's got a little bit of a pistachio kick to it, but very pale. It's quite beautiful, but I didn't really like it because, again, I don't like green all that much, so it has to be a stunner if I'm going to keep it. The formulation was lovely, and I kind of oscillated back and forth on this one because parts of me wanted to keep it at some points, but then in the end I decided to go ahead and let it go. This next shade is very similar to the one I'm wearing today. This is by Gosh and it's in the shade Holographic Hero. It's basically a light silver that's got a holographic shimmer to it. It's really pretty, but the application of this was tricky for me. I found it didn't go on very nicely. I needed 3 or 4 coats to get opacity and to get my nails free of streaks. And then when it was on, I liked it, but I didn't like it that much, so I am going to be saying goodbye to it. This next shade is by Deborah Lippmann. It's in the shade Whatever Lola Wants, and it's the Kelly Ripa shade. I know sheer nail polish isn't everyone's thing, but I still really like them just for ease of application and for going to work and the like. And this just had a beautiful shimmer to it. It's a very pale, pale, pale pink that looks almost clear on the nail, but it's got a brilliant shimmer. So I love it. There is visible nail line though, so it is not a full coverage glitter, but it's more of a shimmer, I guess. Really, really pretty and right up my alley, so I am going to hang on to this one. The next shade I wore is by Essie, and I'm still a little bit undecided about this one, but I'm leaning towards letting it go. This is in the shade Castaway, and it's a beautiful bright pink with a cool undertone. I think it clashes with my skin tone a little bit, but it's so stunning that I contemplated keeping it. I'm still not 100% sure, but again, I am leaning towards saying goodbye to this one. The next shade is also by Deborah Lippmann, and I did wear this on my toes. This is in the shade Girls Just Want to Have Fun, and it's a really pretty coral, but it's very sheer. I would say this almost has a jelly type finish or consistency to it. Really nice, but it's just not for me, so I am going to be saying goodbye to it. Next up is this beautiful polish by Glaze. It's in the shade Stone Cold, and it's basically a charcoal gray that is matte that also has shimmer to it. It's very complex and very beautiful, but unfortunately it chipped on me the first day and it just looked really, really haggard after a few days. I remembered having this problem before, but I thought it would be solved with a top coat. I did use the Essie matte top coat with it, but it's still chipped and kind of wore off the edges, and I was just left with lines at the top of my nails. So wasn't a huge fan of that. Even though I love the color, I am going to be saying goodbye to it. Finally, the last shade I'm going to talk about is this Julep nail polish. It's the one I have on today. This is in the shade Rebel, and it's basically very similar to the Gosh holographic nail polish that I showed earlier. It's a beautiful light silver color that has a holographic shimmer to it. It is beautiful. I love this one. This one applied very nicely, only 2 or 3 coats needed. Didn't have the same streaky quality that the Gosh one did, and it just looks like a deeper, more rich color, even though it's very light. So I can't stop looking at my nails with this shade on, so that's definitely a sign that I'm going to hang on to it. That is it for this episode of Keep or Donate. The final result is that I'm going to be letting go of 9 out of the 16 polishes that I tried. I think I'm starting to do a little bit better and getting the hang of it, although it might be because I'm nearing the sort of end of my collection, so all of the colors that I was really excited to wear, I pretty much have already worn, although I still have a lot of really pretty shimmers and other types of colors and things that I have yet to reach for. So this series is going to be going on forever because I have a lot of nail polishes left in my collection and a lot of stuff in general. So I hope you like these videos because the rest of the year, possibly the next year and the next year, will be a lot of Keep or Donates. So thank you again for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Until I see you next time, please take care and bye for now.